Yo, what's going on, guys, and welcome back to another New World video. In this video, I thought I would cover at least the top 10 droppable mage and range weapons that you might want to acquire before the combat rebalance patch goes live. Now, I saw a New World dev stream today where on the 2023 roadmap, they confirmed that the combat rebalance patch is going live in spring of 2023. The start of spring is March 20th, which is about a month after I plan to upload this video, so you will have ample time to farm any items on this list that you're interested in. And if you don't know, the way that they're rebalancing mage and range weapons is by buffing the Bane perk on those weapons solely to increase their viability in PvE. Because right now, if you apply to a party with a mage or a ranged weapon, no one will accept you because they are so terrible in PvE, which is sad to see, but hopefully that all changes soon. So what I did was I scoured New World database for all Bane perks on mage and ranged weapons, and I picked out a list of items that are at least decent. Now, most of these aren't that amazing as mage and range never got much love in this game to begin with, but there are a few gems in there, so what I'll do is I'll cover the items that are easiest to get first, and later on in the list we'll get into the more difficult items, namely a couple from raffle bones that are actually really nice, but you might be better off purchasing them from the trading post if the price is right, because farming raffle bones can be a nightmare. So let me hop over to New World database and show you what I found. Alright, so what I've done is I've divided the list to top 10 items not from raffle bones, and then I actually have over 10 more items from raffle bones, so it might be a longer video. Maybe pull up New World and just listen on the side or something. But number one, not from raffle bones, is Forgotten Flame, which is a fire staff that drops with Lost Bane, Vicious, and Mortal Lifesteal. Now, Bane plus Vicious is pretty much what you're always going for. It's an extremely solid foundation for a weapon, and you can get this Forgotten Flame basically anywhere within Malevolence. Here's a Biogenesis for an example, a boss within Malevolence. I'm sure you've all been here before. It's a popular elite chest run spot, pretty much dead smack in the middle of Eden Grove. At number 2, we have the Chandras Firebolt, which drops with Empowering Fireball, Thwarting Counter, and Ancient Bane. Now, when they buff the Bane perks, if you land a Fireball with this thing against an Ancient mob with an active grit, it's going to be an insane number. Well, at least hopefully. We don't know how severe the buffs are going to be, but I'm hoping they're going to be pretty significant buffs. Now, you can get this Chandras Firebolt from Chandra Dune Captain, who's located basically directly on the west side of Brimstone Sands. She only has 26,000 HP, so throw on some Lost Ward gear, and I'm pretty sure you can solo farm it. She does also drop a nice amulet called Enchanted Stone, which drops with slash protection, health, and skinning luck if you need it. It does have the relevant stat for it, but you could build a nice mage loadout just killing her. She drops a mage amulet and a nice fire staff. At number 3, we have one of the gems in this list, the Fire Prod Fire Staff dropping with Empowering Fireball, Beastbane, and Enchanted. I'm pretty sure the Sandworm's going to be a beast, don't quote me on that, they might try to make it a little weird, but this looks like an extremely solid fire staff for the Sandworm trials that are coming out in summer, I believe. So you might want to go pick this one up for sure. It drops from Daisy the Dancing Bear at the top of Imperial Palace. I'm sure you've all killed her many times. She also drops the Entertainer's Maul Warhammer and the Woodworker's Shoes. I forgot about that. I do use this hammer for tanking. The Shockwave Hated and Keenly Fortified combination is pretty gnarly. Very good boss to kill. Worth your time. Number 4, we're moving into the Ice Gauntlets. We have the Brinesicle dropping with Lost Bane, Vicious, and Pylon Burst. Pretty much a best in slot if you're DPSing. Maybe Deadly Frost instead of Pylon Burst would be ideal, but this drops basically anywhere within the Barnacles and Black Powder expedition. Extremely solid Ice Gauntlet for just running a regular expedition. It doesn't even have to be mutated, so keep an eye out for it if you're running it. Next on the list, we have the Mormo Void Gauntlet, which is actually really nice. It drops with Chain Void, Ancient Bane, and Putrefying Scream. The only catch with this weapon, at least at the time of recording, is Herihor, the boss that drops it, is nowhere to be found. There's comments saying, like, he doesn't spawn, maybe sometime in the future, blah blah blah, but people have reported getting this drop from the event that's currently going on. When you kill the Centurion or the Legacy of Crassus event, when you complete it, there's a 10% chance that you get an item from the Greater Eternum drop table, and people have gotten this Void Gauntlet. So if you're doing that event, keep an eye out for this weapon, and hey, who knows if you're watching this video a year in the future, maybe Herihor spawns now, because I would definitely go farm him for this Void Gauntlet. It's quite nice. At number 6, we have the Tortuous Infernos Void Gauntlet. Now this Void Gauntlet drops with Keenly Empowered, Keen, and Corrupted Bane. Keen is so important to have on your Void Gauntlet because most of your cooldown reduction comes from landing critical hits. So make sure you have Keen on your ring and on your Void Gauntlet if you're going to be DPSing with this thing. I honestly might go pick this up depending on how significant the Bane buff is. This is a nice Void Gauntlet. It drops from Aquilifer Scala, I'm just going to say, in Southwest Brimstone Sands. She also happens to drop the Hellish Leggings, which are quite nice. You get Intelligence, Vigor, Shirking Fort, and Resilient. And she only has 24,000 HP. She's corrupted, so throw on a ward set and go farm it. Doesn't look too hard. At number 7, we have the Purifier Bow, dropping with Refreshing, Vicious, and Corrupted Bane. Very high damage bow for a corrupted mutation, and it drops basically anywhere within Dynasty Shipyard mutation level 8 and up, so you'll probably get this one passively, but don't scrap it, keep an eye out for it, it's quite nice. And at number 8 we have the Feathersbane Musket. I was so stoked to get this when I finally landed it. It drops with Dexterity, Empowering Shooter Stance, Beastbane, and Enchanted. Talk about a dream weapon if the Sandworm is a beast, am I right? This thing drops from Grave Offerings within Brimstone Sands, so you're going to have to find a Grave Offering route you like and just stick to it until you get it. They did recently remove some Grave Offerings from Brimstone Sands, so it's a little bit harder to get now, but it's definitely still possible. Just make sure at least you're staying on top of your Castrum Precipitium runs every day, and you'll land it eventually. At number 9, we have the Archaeologist Armored Flintlock. I'm sure most of you know about this one by now. It drops with Ancient Bane, Keen, and Vicious. Extremely well-rounded, extremely high damage. I just hope the Bane perk is sufficient enough for muskets to become viable as well. This drops basically anywhere within Lazarus, regular, not mutated, so you probably have it in your storage shed somewhere, go look it up. And at number 10, we have the Colossus Crumbler 4000 Blunderbus with a very fitting name. This drops with Chain Lightning, Ancient Bane, and Mortal Power. Mortal Power lasts for 20 seconds now, so it's actually quite nice. As well as Ancient mobs are weak to Lightning, so that Chain Lightning is going to be super effective. You can get this Colossus Crumbler from the Colossus of Memnon, located on the northern half of the Great Wall of Nebet-Tet. I wouldn't recommend going here to farm it, it's not worth that. However, this is a very popular elite chest run spot, so make sure you at least get a hit on Colossus of Memnon every day, and I'm sure you'll knock it out passively. And don't scrap it like I did when you get it. I scrapped it on accident. And at number 11, we have the Land Blunderbus, dropping with Keenly Empowered, Chain Nature, and Beastbane. And all of these Beastbane weapons I'm recommending are predicated off the assumption that the Sandworm is going to be a beast, or at least one of these new expeditions they're adding in 2023 is going to have some use for Beast Warden Bane, and if they buff the Bane perk on this Blunderbuss, it's going to be quite nice. You basically just get it from regular Genesis, so chances are you have this one as well, but it's not that well of a known item, so it's probably in your storage shed somewhere. Or if you scrapped it, just go back and run some regular Genesis. It's a fun dungeon anyway, right? Definitely worth having. Hey guys, just a quick message before we move into the second half of this video. I just want to remind you that I do have a referral link for Ashes of Creation in the description down below. It's a very promising MMO, and it's free to sign up, so go ahead and check out that link. In a few years when it comes out, you'll be glad you signed up this early. Well, I guess I can't count today. We actually have 17 weapons here, either from Raffle Bones or from the global drop tables, so like I said, hopefully you're doing something on New World while you just listen to me ramble. But number 1 here, we have the Firelord Staff, dropping with Angry Earthbane, Keenly Empowered, and Refreshing Evasion. Fire Staff does not hit the Empower cap, so you can use all 15% of that Empower quite safely, and having Refreshing Evasion on the weapon itself is actually pretty cool and unique. These are all bind on pickups, so if you see a weapon you like, check your trading post before you go spend months farming it. Next up, Fire of Darkness Fire Staff, dropping with Beastbane, Flamethrower, and Chain Nature. I'm not sure if the Chain Nature would proc off your Flamethrower ability, but if it does, that is super cool. Either way, very good staff, 3 good perks, can't complain about that. Number 3, we have the Flame Breath Fire Staff, dropping with Beastbane, Vicious, and Efficient Burnout. Another generally high damage, all around good fire staff. They give you so many good fire staffs for Beastbane, and it's been just unusable for like the last 3 years in this game. At number 4, we have the Corruption's Flame Fire Staff with Corrupted Bane, Enchanted, and Mortal Power. Pretty much all damage on this fire staff with a cool skin as well, so pick this one up if you can. At number 5, we have Enmity, this nice blue fire staff. I'm not sure if the appearance is blue in game, but if it is, that might be worth picking up just for the looks alone. Drops with Corrupted Bane, Mortal Power, and Stable Incinerate. Incinerate is such a good ability. I know they have to buff these weapons quite a bit for them to be usable, but I personally love Incinerate the way it is. It does so much damage in a short amount of time, at least in PvE. They could leave that ability unchanged, and I'd still be happy with it. Good fire staff. Next up, we have the Black Ice Gauntlet with Vicious, Corrupted Bane, and Life Stealing. Now, Life Stealing is not the best on an Ice Gauntlet because it doesn't trigger off persistent damage or damage over time, which is really the Ice Gauntlet's specialty, but still, I would say worth picking up if you see it for like under 1k, why not? At number 7, we have the Wicked Fury Void Gauntlet dropping with Ancient Bane, Keenly Empowered, and Enchanted. For some reason, it comes with a ruby in there. Definitely swap that out for a topaz. But this is a very high damage Void Gauntlet. I know it doesn't have the keen for the cooldown reduction, but still, I would probably use it just for the raw damage output this thing can offer. At number 8, we have the Precision Bow. I actually tried to farm this bow myself for a very long time and had no luck, but it is an incredible bow, dropping with Ancient Bane, Chain Lightning, and my favorite bow perk, Penetrating Rapid Shot. This gives you such a big damage boost to your Rapid Shot, which is already your number 1 DPS ability. And if you hit all 3 shots of Rapid Shot on the same target, your cooldown for it basically gets reset back to nothing, so you can kind of keep spamming it. This bow would be so much fun to use in Lazarus on Chartis. At number 9, we have Osilius, Longbow of the Exiled Archmage. They save all these cool names and cool skins for weapons that nobody's ever gonna get or ever gonna use. It makes no sense to me. But this drops with Beastbane, Enchanted, and Mortal Power. Some pretty nice weapons you get from Rafflebones here. Especially the name, I don't know, I really like it. And at number 10, Miradath, the Corrupted Vision. Once again, a pretty cool name, but an even better bow. Corrupted Bane, Enchanted, and Enfeebling Poison Shot. Enfeebling Poison Shot is actually slept on in my opinion. It's a 25% weaken for 6 seconds. It's almost as good as Enfeebling Skewer, but it can be applied from like a very far distance. Next up, we got Musket of the Elder Gods. Surprise, surprise. Another cool name for a musket that nobody has. Keen, Vicious, and Beastbane. Pretty much the beast equivalent of the Archaeologist Flintlock. Once again, definitely worth picking up if you see it for cheap. Once again, check your trading post for all of these, who knows. At number 12, we have Eternal Rest with Lostbane, Vicious, and Refreshing Move. Pretty good on a musket. I don't know, the Refreshing Move is a little strange because you attack so slow with the musket. But it does trigger off Shooter Stance, so when you get into your Shooter Stance ability, each hit procs Refreshing Move. I don't know why, but they do count as light attacks. So that's something to keep in mind. This could have very niche applications, or it could even be best in slot. Who knows how drastic the changes are going to be to these weapons. And at number 13, we have the Earthbound Peace Blunderbus with Ancient Bane, Vicious, and Keenly Empowered. This one looks like a blast to use in Ancient content. That thing is all damage. I know Vicious isn't the best on a Blunderbus because the crit multiplier is only 1.15, but still, this thing could probably do some nasty numbers. At number 14, we have the Brutish Powder, dropping with Resupplying Mortar Charge, Enchanted, and Ancient Bane. And I only threw this in the list because they said they were planning to rework some weapon perks. I know Resupplying Mortar Charge is really bad right now, but that doesn't mean it's going to stay bad forever. So we'll see in spring what they have in store for us, but as of right now, I would pick this up for cheap if you see it. You never know what's going to happen, right? At number 15, we have the Brickbreaker with Ancient Bane, Enchanted, and Venturing Claw Shot. This one's a pretty safe pickup because Venturing Claw Shot is already a pretty good perk for DPSing. You do have to be at least 10 meters away, but a 32% in power for the next hit is a very large bonus. And at number 16, we have one of my personal favorites, the Dome Blunderbus with Vorpal, Corrupted Bane, and Enchanted. Nothing fancy about it, it's just all damage. If you land a headshot with this thing, it's probably going to be about 10,000 damage. And finally, at number 17, the Soul Spewer 4000. This drops with Lostbane, Enchanted, and Chain Void. The Chain Void's a little weird because you wouldn't be able to slot an Aquamarine in here, and Void's not particularly good against Lost mobs, but still it is a damage perk, and Lostbane plus Enchanted are usually good enough, so having a random third damage perk is pretty good. Oh man, I thought I was only going to cover 10 weapons. We ended up going over 28 of them. So hopefully you found a few weapons you're interested in. I think that some of these are going to be very good after that patch, so we'll see what happens. But thank you for watching. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe before you head out, and I will see you guys in the next video.